Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel, and this is your tip of the week. I'm going to talk about different ways you can make your own closure to close up a poncho or a coat or any other type of wrap that you're making. For instance, let's look at this poncho here, and I have something that's called a frog closure. So that's what I mean by closure, something that looks like this. Now let me show you some other samples. These are hook and eyes, and often you will see hook and eyes used on clothing, but these are really super large hooks and eyes, and they can be very decorative. Also, another thing you can use as a decorative piece on clothing are decorative snaps, and they make all types. They have pretty little edges on them. They come in plastic and in metal. You can also get closures that used to be called sweater guards. And what they are is they're a decorative chain, usually with clips on each end, and you put it on each side of the sweater to hold it over your shoulders. Usually when you're making a decorative closure, often you see it made out of the same fabric as your background fabric here. This was my pretend clothing piece. So let's pretend it is a poncho. So you could use the same fabric to make something like this. Or if you want it to really stand out, you can pick a color in your fabric and create this shape here. So you can make this long rectangle piece, you can have it round like this, or leave it squared, or even make it pointed on each end. So in order to determine how long and how wide you want this to be, you first need to select your buttons that you want to put on it. Now I'm using these large plastic ones. If I was making a real garment, I would not use these little plastic ones. I would pick something a little nicer. And they are very decorative, so you want to pick something that's going to really stand out. But anyway, you would place your buttons. So here's the opening in the front that's going down the center. Place your buttons where you would like them to be on it, and you want it equal distance from this center edge. Then you would add about an extra inch. So I've got about an inch to inch and a half between here that goes over to here. So as I said, you want to make this button out over the same amount. So let me show you how to make this piece. So I cut this fabric. It was about 3 inches wide, and I think it was about 5 inches long to accommodate all of that. I cut out 2 pieces. On one piece, I fused some interfacing on it. Make it a lightweight to a medium weight fusible interfacing, and you'd fuse it on the back side of the fabric, the not so pretty side. Then you take both pieces of fabric and bring the pretty sides together. Place pins around the edge. Now, if you don't want it square, you want to go ahead and either round it off first or cut little points out on each end, like I said. So then bring the pieces of fabric together, front sides, and then stitch a 1/4 inch wide seam all the way around. Now leave an opening. I left about a 2-inch opening. After you stitched, you want to take little scissors and do little slits in here. Then go through your opening and turn it front side out. Then you just want to reach inside and push against the inside of the edges along here. Now you have several different ways you could finish this off. Make sure you fold the edges inside and then press it flat. Once you've pressed it, you can either stitch close to the edge all the way around. If you don't want stitching to show on this, you could do a ladder stitch to close this opening closed. If you don't know how to do a ladder stitch, I'm going to have a link below your YouTube screen in the description section. It's a very detailed tutorial, and it's a hidden stitch. You can't see it, so it depends on the look. So once you have this piece made, you've got this button stitched on. So you would go ahead and put this through your buttonhole. You're going to put a buttonhole in the center. Here, this button is stitched on through this little tab area and through the background fabric. This one never comes undone. This one you can take off. Now make sure you use matching thread. You don't want your buttonhole to be distracting. So as you can see, it really shows up here. So this is, you don't want to do that. So use matching thread. Now I'm going to show you one more way that's super easy, really, really easy. And it's a loop that I've made, and it's stitched on, or excuse me, it wraps around both buttons. So you could actually take the button out of the loop on either side. I cut my fabric about 1¼ inches wide. And once you determine how long you need your fabric piece to be, you want to fold the edges in towards the center and press with your iron. Then fold again and press. Now it's easier to fold it before you stitch the ends together. So fold and press it first. And as I said, once you decide how long you need this piece of fabric to be, you want to unfold it at both ends and bring the unfolded sides together. All right, so it's open like this, and I can see the back side of the fabric, the not so pretty side. Then go ahead and do a 1/4 inch seam along that edge, right across here. Then fold it back up and finish pressing it. So you want to go ahead and see how I have it folded in half at both ends. And then you're going to place the center of this right along the edge of one side of your garment. You pick the side you want it to be on. And then what I like to do is go out here like this with a pencil and put a little mark, or use a fabric marker, so I know where to stitch that button down. And you do that on both sides. Then go ahead and sew your buttons on, and then put the buttons inside of the loops. Now remember, if this seems like a lot of work to you and you're really not interested in doing it, you can always use these little sweater guards, or go ahead and do the little frog closure as I showed you on my green poncho. So you want to pick the method. Maybe you want something super simple, or you don't mind it getting more complicated like this. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tip of the week and that you learned something new, and I gave you a little food for thought. So if you come or in some future time you're making a garment in which you need it, you have the knowledge there. Remember to start your sewing notebook and write all of this down in there, so that when you get ready to do something like this, now she had a tutorial on making their own closure. You've got it written down in your notebook, okay? And that's in my sewing tip of the week. I show you how to make your own sewing notebook, keeping track of all of your stitches. Now make sure you scroll down below your YouTube screen and check out all those links that I talked about. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny and this is Scotty. See you next time.